Welcome back to Different Walk Serious Talks. We're back here with Autumn, Keisha, Farah, and myself, Jessica. On this episode, we're going to talk about polyamory and ethical non-monogamy. Polyamory is the practice of being with more than one person at a time. And generally, when we're talking about polyamory, we're talking about relationships. We're not just talking about people who decide to step out of a relationship, and we're not talking about people who decide to have extra relationships outside of those relationships. We're talking about static relationships in general. Um, Ethical non-monogamy is not that. Ethical non-monogamy is generally when you have a single partner and you agree that you are not going to be just monogamous with each other. So you will have one static relationship with somebody, and then outside of that, you will talk to your partner and say, "Hey, we're okay with sleeping with the other people, going on dates, and that sort of thing." Um, so first, would you guys be polyamorous?
Be polyandry. Yeah,
So
polyand.
So polyandry is generally when we talk about polyamory, we're usually talking about men with multiple wives, or what they call wives, because generally most states don't recognize more than one marriage, but with more than one static partner who are female. When we're talking about polyandry, we're usually talking about one woman with multiple men. So that would be the difference. So you would be a polyandrous. What about you, Keisha? I apologize. Happily married woman there. We can't uh
Trying to
I
mess up
can't
my
I
happy
can't.
home,
I
girl. What?
apologize.
Who you
He
talking
pleads the
to?
fifth.
What about you, Sarah?
He's the fifth.
Headphone done
That's
fell
what
out.
Mike wanted, but I wouldn't mind. If that's what your partner wanted, you'd be cool with that. And so for you it'd be a little different because you're bi. So I don't think your partner would be okay with a male coming in, but even if it was female, you'd be like, we're both cool. So which
As
you've
long as
called,
she's
yeah, which you've called being bi being greedy for a long time.
greedy, yeah.
So
I know everybody's like, "Oh, greed's a sin." I think that depends on the subject or object.
so
Also, they talk about having your cake and eating it too. That's what you're supposed to
yeah.
do with cake.
Yeah,
Get in there.
and I
Get in there,
and I
girl.
believe,
Be
it was
greedy.
actually I can't remember which story in the Bible, but I know one of them had a bunch of wives, and one of the wives kept having children, and the other one she kept praying to have a child, and she eventually had a child. So if it was okay in the Bible, I'm just
So
saying,
so
I'm okay with it.
let's put that in perspective. And I may be incorrect. However, I think mostly when we're talking about multiple wives and a single man in the Bible, usually they're in the Old Testament
Could be, but my thing
before
is
God Jesus died for our
you
sins.
know, a lot of different stuff change. But who said God's opinion changed? If he let it happen before, who knows if he's okay with it now? Things have changed now. God could be okay with it. And if he's okay with it, I'm okay with it. I'm not going to argue with him. I believe he wants me to be happy. And if he wants me to be happy, and my goal in life, according to the Bible, is to please Mike, why wouldn't I do it? Just saying.
Okay. So if it
That's
is ethically okay in the Bible, you're good with it.
I mean, I can't say it's only because of the Bible, because again, I love women. So I'm pretty sure there's some personal satisfaction going there. But I was trying to get right with God. So if I asked him if it was okay, and he sent me that dream that was like, "Yes, girl, go ahead and enjoy yourself," and my partner was like, "You know what? I want someone else to join us. They gonna help out with the bills or the housework. Which one? Help me out. I don't mind either way. Come on in. Let's all
sign
have
me
some
up.
fun and enjoy life together." So yeah, why not?
For my part, I don't think I could do it. I'm not. See, I'm good at sharing food. I'm good at sharing, advice. I'm good at sharing a lot of things, but my partner is not one of them. I'm very possessive when it comes to like my person. Like And I don't think I could like I can't wait my turn. Like when I want, especially like throughout my cycles, if I want to be like right up under my person and there's somebody else there, I'm be like, why are you why are you here? Like move. Like
You
I
got
don't
to
mind
go.
cuddling with more than one person. That just gives more cuddling. That's why we like the California king bed. There's more space. No, if he's not there, then I still have somebody to snuggle with. If she's not there, I still have somebody to snuggle with. I'm just saying. Just
I
and then
guess.
on days I don't feel like cooking, maybe she's in the kitchen, or maybe she doesn't feel like cleaning the bathroom. Don't worry, I got you. I'll go ahead and clean the bathroom. Maybe she feels like watching the kids today while I go to the spa. I don't know. But either way,
Are
sharing
you
responsibilities, finances, and sex all together, that's the three F's. So I'm down.
3 F's. I like it.
are
Yeah,
you
and
are you gonna
finance,
make sure Mike watches this episode? Cause I mean, I feel like you're selling it. I
Yeah.
I'm starting to believe.
I mean, I just feel like, I like how Autumn thinks too. I mean, if it was more than one guy, I know he'd never go for that, so I won't ever go there. I'd never bring it up to him because I believe that that would probably offend him. But if that's something, if for God unknown reason, me and my current partner didn't work out, and my next partner was like, "Hey, I want another guy in the relationship," I'd be like, "Cool." But right now, my particular partner, I believe he like more women, and how can I say no to more breasts in the relationship? Of course, I'm gonna say yes.
Gotta say yes to the breasts. You
Gotta say yes
gotta
to
say
the best.
yes to the
Crazy.
breasts. Amen. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
And the thing about jealousy is it's not like I never get jealous, but you get jealous for anything and everything. I mean, sometimes I get jealous because you're spending time with somebody else more than me. And that's just part of life. That doesn't mean you're not my sister anymore. It just means that you're currently have other things to do and you have a life just like I have a life. And you have to suck it up and be like, yeah, I feel a little bit jealous. She went this place without me, or maybe she even forgot to ask me, or maybe even didn't let me know she came home. And that's part of life. It's okay to feel a little bit of jealousy
I
as long as
I
you
do
realize
feel like
it.
it's a little different when it's a partner.
I don't really see it that way. Jealousy is jealousy no matter how you put it. It's just how you handle it. And for me, if I do feel a little bit of jealousy, I'll probably say something, get it out into the open. We could all talk about it. Maybe you won't leave me out next time. And hopefully I don't do the same thing because it goes both ways. If there's another person in the relationship, it's not just about those two. It's also about me and her as well. I mean, assuming that she also loves bisexuality and she wants to get in on it, then that means he has to worry: does she love me more than she loves me? Well, I hope not. I hope we're all loving each other equally. That sounds.
Yeah, I guess that would be something.
I think that brings up a really good point, Farrah. I appreciate that. Jessica, you got a point too about being jealous. I couldn't help but notice, Autumn, you were shaking your head when Farrah started talking about jealousy. What you think about, girl?
Um, I don't like when somebody try to make me jealous. You
Mm.
know how we were like when we were little kids? You got your favorite little toy. You don't want nobody to mess with your toy. On hindsight,
Yeah.
2020, I see it like that in a relationship. I'm yours, you're mine, right? I mean, of course, we can't possess nobody's property. You know what I mean?
He mine.
And some people like to say that's some form of insecurity, or whatever.
Sure.
But if I made a commitment to you, yeah, I see it in that aspect. We belong to each other. We are unit. We are one. But I don't consider myself. I am a tad bit. I can get a tad bit. But if I think you playing games with me or trying to make me jealous or
Mm.
whatever, bye.
Yeah.
Next. Bye and next. That's my philosophy. I ain't got time for the games, the emotional roller coaster, the psychological issues. That's what you want. That's what you got. So when it comes to the aspect of jealousy, I don't play those games. I don't. Time is too
And
short.
do you think if there's a polyamorous relationship, it opens the door for more things like that emotional roller coaster?
If you have a straight up one-on-one conversation with the person that you're with, and y'all you effective communication, and that's what both of y'all want, it's a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle. If you're new to the lifestyle, you're not accustomed to what the and outs of it, and you think you're a very jealous person by nature, I wouldn't get into the lifestyle. I wouldn't do it. But also we've been programmed as a people to only deal with monogamy. Monogamous. Monogamous is the default relationship type. And anything outside of that is taboo, you know? So there are a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people that would like to get into polyamory, polyamorous, polyandry relationships, but don't know how because it's been frowned upon in form of relationship. And when I say polyandry, if I had a preference, and it seemed like the world wants to, society wants to push that narrative that polyamory is the new monogamous, um, I would prefer polyandry. If we're talking about being greedy,
Just
get
envy.
Hmm?
Andrew, give me my two kings. Give me my two kings, and I'll be that queen.
I get
I don't,
I get so focused on one person though. Like I get so focused on one person that I only way I could do polyandry is that it's like one guy exists twice. And I'm not talking about twins. Just this
Because
one
I think it's a,
person exists twice.
because that's like, I think Anna brought up a really good point about the favorites thing. So me and Jessica were actually talking about this the other day. I've actually never really done favorites even when we were little. I've never really had a favorite color. I've never had a favorite song, a favorite movie because I don't really find just one thing interesting enough
She
to
has a favorite
be a
sister though. She has a favorite
favorite.
sister.
Oh,
That's it.
oh,
Um so since I've never had favorites like that, and also on top of never having favorites, my very first relationship, um, even though I wasn't really allowed to date other people, she did. And so that already programmed me, even though I was brought up in the church with monogamy, since I was so young, and she was like, hey, I could date other people, but you can't. And back then I had to learn to accept it. It was just my way of life. And that helped program me to be able to not be jealous because she would try and make me jealous. But if you're happy, I'm happy, great. Go ahead and do what you're gonna do. I'll be over here in my own head while you're doing whatever you do. Probably enjoying myself still. So it's always been my personal perception to always try and make myself happy regardless of whether other people are doing. And
mm,
even if I can't find a favorite, I'm probably still enjoying something. So that's just a perception for me. I know a lot of people don't share that perception because a lot of people do have favorites fairly young. You're asked it from a very young age. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite animal? Even I even asked my daughter that right now, and she's only 2. But not everybody could choose a favorite. So when we were little, my favorite color was rainbow. And people used to always be like, "That's not a color," and I'd be like, "To you, it's all the colors
yeah.
in one. You can't really say that." And now it's funny because rainbow represents so many different things, but it's always been my favorite because I couldn't choose. I could never choose one color. There's so many different colors even within one color. You can't just pick, sunny yellow or sunflower. There's so many different blues and reds. Like, how can you pick even one? You're saying blue, but you can't even pick between cerulean and teal. Like, it blows my mind. But some people can be very specific. Jessica loves teal, but most people are just like, it's blue. That's
Two-thirds.
not the only blue in the world. So, are you really finding a favorite? But people do have that where they think they're choosing a favorite. I've never been there.
I
So,
think we
I
was
can see that.
programmed to be the way we are when it comes to relationship because it has its benefits. If everybody was polyamorous, I don't think it would have been beneficial. They use like monogamy supposed to be effective for family, raising children, okay? Rearing and raising children. Monogamy is the, system or structure, for that. And um monogamy probably was created based on men, wanting to have control. We probably way back when, we, by nature probably was polyandry, polyamorous, and somebody got jealous and didn't like it. So they decided they wanted to do, monogamy. That's it. One man, one woman, or one woman, or two men, whatever you want to call it. But I believe a lot of us been programmed, and now I think we're starting to wake up and we're bucking what we've been taught, been programmed to learn. A lot of people, um, I don't know. It's just my opinion. I
How
don't
do
know.
you think it's impacted by religion?
You talking about polyandry, or I mean,
Polyamory or polyandry versus
well, that's what I'm
monogamy?
saying.
A lot of like
Monogamous
religions
is
are like you
based.
have to be monogamous.
Yes, exactly.
And
It
back
is.
in the day, it used to be actually considered a cult if you ended up being outside of monogamy.
See, there you go. There you go. So, uh, in the Bible, it's one man, one woman, and that's what we've been programmed. Our grandparents were programmed. Their parents was programmed, so on and so forth. You know, that was a
I mean,
default setting.
like Farrah mentioned earlier, though, like it depends on where you look in the Bible. So, I mean, in the beginning, like if you look all through
Adam and Eve.
Genesis, yeah, but
It
if you
wasn't
look
Adam, Eve, and
all through
Steve.
Genesis, nah, because if you look all through Genesis, it's generally going to be, and I say this because I've been listening to Genesis like in the last couple of weeks, especially. But if a woman couldn't conceive, like an angel would come to like the man and be like, please take her handmaiden to wife, and the handmaiden will have children for you. And then a man would have multiple wives. Um, and even a woman, like there were several times in the Bible where like a man would be in some sort of danger because he went into a certain city, and he wouldn't say that that was his wife, and he would the household would take her, and then he would take her back when he's leaving. Crazy, right?
Yeah,
Um,
that is crazy. Mm.
And so, but I mean, in some cases, like the person didn't sleep with a wife, and there were other nuances to those stories, but um, monogamy was not necessarily uh, very well looked upon in that time, especially because we were populating the earth from that perspective. Um, so
Yeah.
and but that was also incest was okay, so completely different time. Um,
Well, one of
So
the
that
things
begs the
that
question, did monogamy, sorry, go ahead.
no, it's okay. Go for it, babes.
I was just saying, so what if that begs the question that monogamy came about because the earth was starting to be overpopulated?
I think that could be part of it. I think that could be part of it. And I also think part of it is what Autumn said is that there had to be more semblance of control. Because back in the day, women weren't allowed to own things. We couldn't have our own houses, our own cars, whatever. We were considered somebody's property. So I think both of those things might have converged at the same time. And now we're all being taught that you're supposed to be with one person and you only have one soulmate out there, which I think is crazy with all these people in the world. How you just have one soulmate? What if
I
my
don't know, because
soulmate's
it's
on the other
very
side?
easy to love two people at one time.
Say
It's
what?
way easier than
I
people say. It's really easy to love two people at one time. Like people make it seem like it's not possible, but I've loved two people at one time, and it was definitely devastating to lose both of them. It
Yeah.
happened around the same time, and it was still really hard for both of them.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
understand how
why I think
people say
it's
you can't.
I
But
don't get
we've
it
been
either because if you
programmed.
have enough love
We've
in your
been
heart,
programmed. We've been programmed. All of us, every last one of us, has been programmed that monogamy has been the default way of having a relationship. Now, a lot of people are breaking the shackles. You see more men want to uh us trying and really actually doing the polyamory. And there's some women that are down for that. And that's a good thing. That means they're not really trying to hide their nature. Because there's a lot of people that get in relationships, monogamous relationships, and they try to make it work, and they don't understand why it don't work. Because maybe they're probably polyamory by nature, and they don't
Yeah.
want to go
I
across.
think that's a thought process that
That is a
you
thought
have to be
process, exactly.
careful because some people are just dishonest. Like it doesn't matter.
Yes, yes,
Like
yes, and
some
we got to
people,
look at
some
that.
people
We have to look at
even
that
if
as
they have
well.
multiple people, if they could have five different women in the relationship, they will still step out because they just like they're dishonest people.
That's harsh.
They they
They
just
get a
like the
rush.
kids, right? They
They
get a
get a
rush for
thrill
the
out of
chase.
it.
And there's some people who even if they had ethical non-monogamy, I've known someone who was in an E&M relationship and still lied about it.
For
Like for what?
why?
Like for what?
That
You had the green light. What you
Somebody
lying
was
for? Because they're
in
not
an
right.
ethically non-monogamous relationship
Because
and
they're
still
not
lied
right in their
about it to their
head.
partner.
Why
That's
would they
stupid.
lie if it's non?
Exactly. Exactly. For them, it's about the secrecy. Like it's about being
It's
able
being able
to
to
do the taboo
manipulate
thing.
people.
It's about
Yeah.
manipulation. And some people are like that,
Hmm.
right? Um,
Yeah, they get a rush
it,
out of it.
it is so that's why I say yes. I guess I think part of it is programming. Some of us, like me, I don't necessarily think it's just programming. It's the way that I love. I tend to be very very specific. I get so far into like somebody that I'm like
But
this is the only
what if your
person.
mom, what if you grew, okay, just hypothetically speaking, what if all of us grew up or was programmed to be polyamory? Then what?
Then I'd
I
probably
mean, that's
I so
probably yes, so.
I do think it is different, but I do think that in every society somebody breaks the mold. So I think that in a monogamous society we'll always have people who like things like polyamory. And in a polyamorous society, we would still like people who only want monogamy. And I feel like I would probably be one of those people.
I grew up
Like,
in the same household as Jess, and even though we learned the same things, I couldn't fight what I wanted. It made me happy, and well, I'm
yeah.
not saying that my first relationship is the only thing that steered it. I mean, I've loved sex probably since I was like 5 years old. I remember getting caught watching porn and getting in trouble. Like I've always loved sex, and it's an added bonus that if you were polyamorous, it's not just about the sex. It's about having a community that's that close knit that you're able to all live together, that you're able to be able to cook together, you're able to share different types of hobbies. Because even in my particular relationship, we are so opposite yet the same in so many different ways. Like I'm a very fast person and he does things slower. We do both smoke sometimes, but sometimes we quit. Um, we eat healthy at the same time, but for the most part, he's more into TV and I'm more into doing active, like I like to be out and about. But at the end of the day, we do find some shared things in common. But there's also like when he's playing his video game, it'd be nice to have somebody to still spend some time with me because I'm not somebody who likes to be alone for long periods of time. And so even though I know he needs that time, that's his, that's his de-stressor. He needs a video game.
Yes.
It doesn't take away from the fact that I can get lonely during that particular time. So if there was somebody else in the relationship, whether it be a man or a woman,
They would
that'd be
fill
somebody
that
for me.
space.
Whether it's
Yes.
her helping me cook in the kitchen and she's chopping up the vegetables while I'm making the rice, or we're listening to music together. This is something we could share, even if it's not necessarily something that he enjoys as well, because there will be times when we all enjoy something. We'll all maybe enjoy the movies, enjoy the TV, but sometimes it'll be just me and her. Sometimes it'll be just her and him. Maybe she'll enjoy video games. Who knows? And not like I don't enjoy video
You
games, but
wouldn't
not
you
everybody could play the video games. So
would you be mad though if you brought somebody else into the relationship and they both over here playing the video game and you still sitting over here like these mother? You
no,
wouldn't be mad?
no, because I love video games myself. I just don't get to play them. So I just be like, can we take turns? Like that means like on this day, you could be the one that's cleaning, and me and her could, or me and him could be playing. And then on another day, you can take turns, and I'll be the one doing the stuff, and I'll be the one watching the kids. What? We all get to play video games because somebody has
Yeah.
the time now. but we don't have that kind of time for both of us to get into the video
There's
game.
an imbalance of responsibility right now.
Yeah,
I have a
so
I have a question about human nature. Human nature, not just by man or woman, as humans. Which one do y'all think is more natural?
Monogamy.
Monogamy or polyandry?
I
Or
think
you say monogamy?
monogamy.
What y'all,
The reason why
what
I
y'all
say
think?
that is because from very, very young, we usually say mine. Like one of the when kids grab toys, they tend to be like, this one's mine. They tend to we tend to think in the possessive. So we think you see kids say, that's my mommy. You'll sit next to I sat next to my Keisha when the kids were young, and this is my mommy. I know it's your mommy, but that's my friend. Yeah, but it's my mommy. We think in
again,
the
I feel
possessive.
about it perception, though, because I've never been like that. I could joke around like that, but I've never
Cool.
actually been like, this is mine.
Fact.
So
So I
in
think,
that case, then
well,
I'm born
she
to
said
be
for in
polyamorous.
general though, but she said in general human nature. I think in general,
Human
like
nature.
I said earlier, I do think that there's always going to be people that break the mold, that have just different mindsets. But I think as a society, we are you know, we think of things in the possessive. So I do think that monogamy is a natural thing,
Here's a
and that
rebuttal to that.
God,
If if you're only supposed to be with one person, why do so many different people smell good and you're attracted to?
because they're all potential.
So shouldn't once you get that one potential, everybody else starts thinking?
No, so for me in particular, and this is why I say that I stopped being attracted to other people. So when I'm in a relationship and I'm deep, like this is my person, I can like LL Cool J could walk up, I'd be and he'd be like, obviously like, and he's a handsome man. I'd be like, okay, cool. But did you see the guns on my dude? Did you have you smelled him today?
So
I
here's my
got
rebuttal
him.
to
That
that.
was fine.
So
I
me,
wouldn't pass you up. Sorry, baby.
so over time, that has slowly happened with me and my partner. However, anything that he looks at, I'm attracted to. So even though he's the only one I
Women.
fantasize, we're out in public and he's like, dang, she looks good. And then I look, then I might be able to have a fantasy of both of them later.
Yeah, I'm not. So that's obviously not within my wheelhouse.
I'm
Um,
like, yes.
but that's what like for me that the monogamy is not just it's not just a construct. It is a lifestyle, I guess. Like it's already like it's embedded in my
Markeisha, what you
psyche.
think, honey? What you think? Oh,
Yeah.
I want to hear your take. What you think? You think it's a by human nature, you know, is it a default, monogamy a default or polyamory? What you think?
I think honestly, it all kind of exists on a spectrum, right? Like, I
Hmm.
think truly honest, I feel like in many ways, maybe polyamory is kind of the default because there's so many people that do look and smell good, and you might be like, you know what I'm saying? But also, we do tend to have that possessive nature sometimes. We're like, this is mine, don't nobody else touch it, or I'm gonna cut you. Like they all exist. So I don't know. I will say though that I do love being in love. I love new love. I love infatuation. I like to explore the whole. And then when it starts getting real serious and deep, I'll be like, well, this is kind of boring now. But but I understand Autumn. But I understand that
Same
life
way.
isn't all
I'm
about
the
the
same
newness and the
way.
novelty. I
I'm
understand
pretty
that
much the
life
same
gets
way too.
serious and life gets real, and sometimes we have to settle down and,
Yeah.
be adults and stuff. But I don't know. There's a lot of
The
people out there
newness
that
of
look
something
good,
new is beautiful.
and it's so beautiful, and I mean, there's so many possibilities out there, and we have so many
Oh,
holes. But I'm just saying that it all exists for a
How about you,
reason.
Adam?
And you
You
guys figure
said
out
we
your
got so
reason for
many
we know
you.
holes.
Autumn.
Who
Autumn
said
thinks
that?
polyamory.
Who
We
said
know
that?
Adam, but you need to spell it out for the audience.
Spell what out?
Which one do
Your
you think
question.
is the default for humankind?
I think polyamorous. Look, I keep
Polyandry.
saying the word
No,
polyamorous
these
so
men
bad,
need to be
so bad.
kneeling
Look,
kneeling at their feet.
look,
That is
that
the
is a
default.
lifestyle I'm trying to investigate.
That is
No,
the
Amen.
default. She thinks these men
Amen.
but
should
I
be
think
kneeling at your feet
Get they
yeah,
worship
from birth.
on. I know that's
yes,
right. I know that's
yes.
right.
But
I know
yeah,
that's right.
but I mean, okay, look at the animal kingdom, right? How many species is monogamous
Several.
other than
There are quite a
Penguins.
few. Yeah, penguins
Penguins are
I think
monogamous.
turtles.
There's some birds. There's a lot of birds that actually just mate for life.
Yeah,
I don't know about turtles though.
I
I
want
don't
to
know
say
about
there are
turtles.
some turtles that mate for life, but
I
I
feel like
might be
there's
wrong.
definitely some birds.
Made for life.
Who
One
else?
one
Wolves.
dies, the other one lays down and dies.
Oh, I was going to
That's
say
how
all
my
the
man need
coolest
to
ones, but
be.
that sounds terrible.
but polyamorous?
I'm
I
cool with that.
believe.
Alex, please watch this.
It could be something. It's something I
I
heard
think
on a thing, so it might be inaccurate. But I was like totally shocked when
I
I
don't
heard
think
it.
it lays
What do
down
you
and
mean?
dies, but I do
But
think that
to Autumn's point,
It's open
most of them
worship
aren't
though.
though. Most of the
yeah. So
wild animals be out there being wild.
I believe by human nature we are polyamorous creatures, but we've been programmed to be monogamous based on religious de factos, or
And
religious norm,
societal
and
structures.
societal.
and I get
Yes,
that.
yeah,
I get
because
that.
if we and the reason why I think that is because if monogamous was supposed to be, there wouldn't be so much pushback against monogamous relationships. Or why is it so hard to
Because there's so many of us.
you know
There's so many of us, and
but it's exactly. So
so
if it's
it
so
didn't
many of
used to
us,
be this
it's
hard though.
it's a
I think
benefit.
it's more difficult because social media is so in your face. It's
No,
so
but
difficult
it was
because we
going
are
on before social media. Think
even
about it
before
in the 60s.
even
The
before
flower children,
before social media.
hey, free
I
love,
I do
you
think
know.
that it does have a lot to do with not just options,
No, okay.
but
Let's not talk about
knowing
social media.
ourselves. And I feel
No,
like
okay.
like
Let's not talk
I
about social media. Grandma, okay,
mhm
not grandma, grandpa
mhm
stepped out on grandma, had another relationship, you know, up the block with
Whole
Miss
different
Maddie.
family.
Okay,
Whole
a
different
whole
family
different
up
family
town.
with Miss Maddie. Okay,
so
all
my
right.
grandfather didn't and
Okay,
that's the
so he
thing.
fighting his urges, his natural
Mhm.
urges of being with multiple human beings. And who's to say grandma, one of them kids ain't
But
So
granddaddy?
to
here's the
me
thing, because
that's
I'm pretty
also a
sure
societal
women have
construct.
urges too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure women have urges too, but I feel
And
like
we
maybe
just
they
That's what I'm
just better
saying.
we're more
at
It
being
is
discreet
responsible.
about it.
as a species, human nature.
I
Human
don't
nature. That's what
see
I'm saying.
I don't think that's the case. A lot of times when men step out, they will tell you there was a specific reason for it. They'll tell you, "Oh, she was busy with the kids."
No,
Oh, she was
no,
doing this.
no.
Yes,
They
yes.
won't even say that.
And
What are you
much of the
talking
time,
about?
they
A lot
will
of the
say
people,
things like
they
that.
went to their grave, they died.
So,
Grandma didn't
Okay.
know grandpa had other kids or another family until he passed
so,
away. What are you talking
So
about?
how about based on personal experiences? Do y'all have any personal experiences?
I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
I
yes,
know
yes. For me,
Maybe from when
yes.
you're younger?
Yeah. For my family, my mom family, she had a half sister. Okay. Apparently granddaddy had a relationship with Miss such and such. They had a child. Okay. Now, granted, grandma stayed with granddaddy and had 7 more kids or whatever, but that was the norm back in the day. So what I'm
that's
saying,
because
by
women
human
that is
nature,
because women were in essence a piece of property. And so you could do whatever you wanted to them.
but we didn't talk about grandma
But
probably
but
having
that
kids. We never talked
but
about
that is
that too much.
entirely that I feel like that is a big part of the conversation is that it was normalized in our communities and this is to me still that way today. It has been normalized in our communities. If you've
You
got a
don't think
man,
women want to do
you
the
listen,
same thing?
wait. I feel like it's been normalized in our community. It's if the man makes enough money, he can step out how he wants to. If you don't have to work, man can step out however he wants to. You see it all the time on social media. You see all the time in articles and things like that. Oh well, you got that Prada bag and you can stay home or you going to the spa tomorrow. If you walk in on him and his mistress, then walk back out. So these kind of thought processes are baked into our society as if they're okay. It's not okay to be disrespected. If you and your partner made a commitment to each other and didn't make this agreement that somebody could step out, it's still not okay.
It was
This
never.
reminds me of a debate that Jessica and I were actually having about some songs from when we were growing up that normalized it, including Brandy and Monica's "The Boy Is Mine," Morgan's "He's Mine," and there were a couple others I can't really remember right
So
now.
many.
But there were quite a few songs when we were growing up that were basically saying, "Hey, I know he cheated, but he's mine, so you need to step away," or the other way
So
around. I know Kelly Price isn't the original of this particular song, but I think it's "Lay Me Down" or something. When she talks about how you're not mine, you're my best friend, but we need to stop our relationship.
mhm.
So I don't know if you guys
So
remember
many.
that song,
There's
but there
so
were
I
many.
do not know that
there's
song.
plenty of music that actually goes towards that behavior. But on the other hand, it doesn't necessarily always have to do with music or what people are going around you, because in my personal experience, I've never actually cheated on anybody, but I have been straightforward and been like, hey, I have an attraction to so and so. Is it okay if I go ahead and explore it? And I explored plenty in my youth, and quite a few of the men I was with and women were okay with it. And so, even though you're saying it's a mindset, in my experience, that's not true. There have been plenty of people that I've shared experiences with that were okay with it, even in the early 2000s. And this is before all of this polyamory became a huge thing. A lot of us were already where people are making it big because maybe because of social media, who knows? But there's actually plenty of people who, even though grew up in the church and grew up with parents that were monogamous to each other or not, sometimes, quite a few people decide to take that exploration before now. It's even though this is 20 years later, some people already were doing it. If you went to a club, especially especially for I don't know if you remember that club that I used to go to all the time on Tuesdays. It was a
Yeah, the Cribbing Club.
bisexual club,
Yeah.
and there were plenty of experiences where people were sharing each other in the club.
I want to put that in perspective though. I do think that there is a thought process in society where when we're young it's okay because you're sowing your wild oats, right? You're sowing your wild oats, you're gonna go do it, but then there's an expectation that at that point, yeah, but you've heard people say it. I hear you, but you've heard people say it.
Men.
You've heard people say it. You've heard people. Well, even you guys, we've had this conversation before. I've never had like my wild time, right? I've never gone out and like done a lot of dating. I was in one relationship for 10 years, another one for 7. Before that, what, 3? So like, I've never had like a real just wild time in my life. And I've been
Still,
told by not just you guys. I hear you, but I've been told by not just you guys, but other people that, oh, you just haven't had that time yet. Like we have an expectation that you're going to have this wild exploration phase, and then you settle down, and then you're good after that. So there's a societal expectation that you have a wild exploration phase where you're finding yourself and you're doing different things, and then after that you settle down into whatever it is, some sort of monogamous relationship or
Adulthood's
some
supposed to be.
adulthood, right? Like you
Hmm.
settle down into the societal expectation of whatever that is for your area, whether it is even a polyamorous relationship, maybe before you were just doing whatever you want to do, you know?
I believe monogamous is a very high expectation for. We still animals. At the end of the day, we're still animals. We
Yeah,
are
but
part of the
why
animal.
wouldn't you want to have a high expectation for people that you care about?
I'm saying monogamy is such a
Um,
high expectation. A
It
lot
is
of
a high
people
expectation.
and not but and that I'm just talking about relationship wise monogamy. The divorce rate. Can somebody look up the divorce rate, please, for me? Somebody look
I
up the
mean, I do
percentage,
it. I
the
like
divorce
Googling
rate
stuff.
for me,
I
please.
mean,
Okay,
to me,
because this
it is
talks
it is
into
a high
this is a talk.
expectation that we should be able to expect from someone. If you make that commitment to somebody, then I think it's a reasonable
But it
expectation.
doesn't happen the way we expect it to happen. You see what I'm
That's
saying?
because
So
we
that's
don't have
why
enough
by
communication. We've
nature,
had this.
probably by nature,
I don't think it's
we
just by
are
nature.
supposed to probably be, you know,
I think
polyandrous.
we just don't communicate enough. And we've had this conversation before. I don't think we
But
communicate
this was
enough
going
with
on
people.
prior to our generation. What are you talking about?
Reg-
Stuff like that's been going
Even
on prior to our
even in those
generation.
generations, I think people don't communicate enough. And that's why we have so many people who don't have successful relationships.
I mean, I
You
guess
can
we'll find
communicate
out in the
all
next
day
20 years
long.
or
They
so
still going to
because
do what they want to do. What are
communication
you
is
talking
focused.
about? What'd you
Exactly.
say? What you say?
We'll find out in the next
I
20
said I
years.
guess we'll find out in the next 20 years or so because now communication is focused in schools. Emotional intelligence is now focused in schools. So I guess
Maybe.
we'll see who's right or wrong within the next 20 years.
But we also have more introverts because we have less in-person communication. So we have people who are less likely to speak their minds and more likely to go online and put it on forum. And so we
Well, that's
have
what's
to be able
smart
to
as
have these.
parents.
Yes, and many
Because
parents aren't as involved
that
anymore.
anti-socialism isn't the best. Anti-socialism isn't even good for your health. So
It's
if
not.
you feel like you're integrated and you're teaching it to your children, then it's up to you if you want to make a change
Yeah,
or not.
but you're in those classes. You've seen other parents who like aren't as involved in their child's lives as you would want them to be. Like you've seen other kids who are like sitting there with the tablet, sitting there with the like, and mom and dad are like, oh, you're like, oh, do they know their ABCs? Oh yeah, they watch
Well,
this
yeah,
show.
luckily that's why a lot of schools are getting into it. Even if the parents aren't fully there to teach the emotional availability, then our teachers will help teach it. Because some parents just don't know how to teach emotional availability. I'm learning myself, so it's hard for me to teach my toddler how to communicate effectively if I'm not the best at
Yes.
communication. So between me trying to learn and her hopefully going to school and learning, hopefully she's better at communicating than I am.
Yeah.
Say, for instance, Jess, you're not married at all, right?
Mhm.
You got a great guy.
Mhm.
He loves you, love him. You did all the vetting process and everything, right?
Mhm.
And y'all communicate real good, real good.
Mhm.
Okay? And y'all monogamous.
Mhm.
It's you and him. Say 5, 10 years in, he got an itch up his ass because he want to try something different.
Mhm.
He communicates to you because you keep saying something about communication. Now, he's probably been suppressing how he really feels and what he really wants, but
Okay.
society wants him to be, in monogamous relationship. And it's a good look for a man to be partnered up, standing man. He's married and he got a
Okay.
good head on his shoulder. And you keep harping on communication.
Yeah.
Okay, he communicates with you, baby, this ain't working for me.
Then maybe
I
it's
need that.
maybe it's time to go separate ways. So I am not going to compromise what my choice is and then be upset about the outcome, right?
And that is why probably a
That's
lot
the
of
whole point.
relationships are going crazy.
Oh,
That's why.
so here's the thing.
You keep saying communication.
If we've communicated properly, we are in alignment. And this is the
Yes, I
so you
understand
can
all that.
communicate. No,
But
no, no, no,
people
no.
change.
Wait. No, you
People
can
change.
communicate and not be in alignment. So you can communicate something and not be in alignment. You can choose to ignore the things that you and somebody else are not on the same page about, right? You can choose to decide that even though you're not going down the same path, you still stay together. I've done that, right? And so if you are in alignment with this person and you are making the same choices down the same path, then that doesn't happen because 5 to 10 years in the future, you know that this man wants to be a husband and you want to be a wife to that man, right? We've already explored the thought process that is this something that you would want to explore with somebody else? Because if we're having these continuous conversations, if we're having this continuous communication, then I won't be hearing it for the first time in 10 years. I'm either prepared for this or like I know that it's not going to happen because we've
That's
continued to be aligned over time.
people change though, and things
That
change over
part.
time.
That part. Exactly.
And if he says that okay, this has changed, and that's okay, then it's my choice to not go in that direction. and I'm
And
not
that's
going to
understandable.
compromise in that direction because I know that I'll be unhappy. If you are going to be
And that is
unhappy if
okay.
we go in that direction, and I'm going to be unhappy if we don't,
And
then we
that's why
do not
probably
align, and it's time to go in separate directions.
that's why the divorce rate is probably high because of infidelity. Men want multiple partners, but they don't want to tell their significant other that they're attracted to somebody else. So they rather step out of what they're in
Then they don't
and
care
think
enough
they're not going
about
to
their
get
partner.
caught,
Then
huh?
they don't care enough about their partner. If you
Maybe
know that
because that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's probably not. Maybe I'm just spitballing.
if
Maybe
you don't
it's
care
by
enough
human
about that person's
nature.
feelings, if you care
Look,
more
I'm
about
not coming
like
up with excuses, baby girl. I'm not.
that,
Trust me, I
it is
believe
an
you.
excuse.
I'm in them shoes. I'm in the shoes, but what I'm doing is trying to figure out like a hypothesis, if you will. You see what I'm saying? I'm
We
trying to figure out
I
why
hear you, but we
things
excuse people's behavior because we want a reason for why they
excusing
did something,
nobody's
right?
behavior.
But
I
that
didn't say
does
that.
excuse
I'm
the
not
behavior.
excusing nobody's behavior. I'm just being open-minded about the possibilities of why things probably go wrong. And one of them things is probably by default, we're probably by human nature
I think
polyamorous.
I
And we
I think we
just
have personal responsibility, and we have to take that personal responsibility and say, did I communicate with my partner over time? Did I really do that, or has it been 5, 10 years since now and the time we align? Because if you get married and then you never realign yourself, that's completely you're going to go in the different direction because it's like planting a shrub, right? And then you never
Yeah,
prune it, and then don't expect it to go anywhere that does.
okay. If marriage is about compromise, so you compromise sometimes with finances, sometimes you compromise with other things like whether
Hmm.
you want your children to grow up this way or that way.
Hmm.
And actual marriage is hard work.
Hmm.
It's hard work because you're compromising different things. So you would prefer to get a divorce than stay with somebody you've been with for 20 years
Yes,
because you are
absolutely.
that into monogamy.
Absolutely. So I know that that is not something that would be good for my mental health. So
yeah.
knowing that for me, that would not be good for my mental health. Now, other people may be able to deal with it, right? But I know for me and my mental health, that would lead me down the wrong path. So knowing that, yes, I would give up the time that we've been together. So there are things that I'm willing to compromise about, and there are things that I'm not. And you have to know yourself well enough to know the difference.
All I can say is thank God I think differently.
Yeah, and for some people it's completely fine if that's not the way you think. But for me, I know that my mental health would be in the trash, and I would not show it. I would not show it until you see my car go off the side of a bridge. And I would not show it until you see that, like, my bags would be packed and at the door before you see it, because I would agree to it for the sake of someone else. And then I would continuously deteriorate. I would continuously detach. And then while they're happy and doing their thing, I would be mentally just checking out. Like, over time,
There's a
I would
difference
mentally check
between
out.
cheating. What we talking about now? We done changed this topic from cheating to polyamorous. Okay,
Well, this
polyamorous
is
is a
ethical
lifestyle.
non-monogamy, though. This would be talking about a relationship between two people, and them being okay with you stepping out and having an marital relationship, right? So that's ethical non-monogamy, which is not the same thing as polyamory. So it may not be just with one person. You're allowing them to be with multiple. So with that, again, with polyamory or ethical non-monogamy, it's just not something that I would be able to mentally be part of. So, and knowing that about myself, knowing that I've been cheated on. I've had somebody in my life who they told me that, like, I've been part of ethical non-monogamy, where they told me, I don't know if I can be monogamous, and I don't know if I could do this. I'm gonna try. And then every single time it happened, it's like a piece of me broke. And then
They
over
told
time, yeah, they
they
told
told
me, well, I'm gonna try to be monogamous, but I can't promise anything. And
and what
my hope was
feel.
no, maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I'm just not enough. Maybe if I dress better. Maybe if I lose weight. maybe if I do that, and over time,
Did they
my
tell
thought
you
process,
that at the beginning of y'all initially meeting, or you
no,
found
no,
out
I
with
think they did
I
relationship?
found out,
because they were
found
lying
out.
because of the situation and stuff. Because if they had they
No,
been truthful and
so
accepted it,
so they
maybe
started
it would have
lying
went.
later. At first, they said, well, I'm going to try, and so and then they would play word games. They would say, I would say, well, did you sleep with so and so? No, I didn't.
They're
And
greedy.
then later on they'd be like, oh well, I slept with somebody else, and so I didn't tell you because you didn't ask. And I told you I may not just be with you, so you can't get upset with me.
They're
Then that
greedy, and so
and I got and I and for transparency, I actually had like medical issues behind it. So like it took me like a year to be clear of all the medical issues that came with it. So um like especially knowing that and knowing those sorts of things and how it impacted me over time, how it impacted my mental health, even knowing and then when we were monogamous, when they said no, okay, well we're going to be 100% monogamous, they could not keep themselves from reaching out to other people. So they weren't actually doing anything. They would just have these conversations that weren't appropriate for people who were in a relationship. So
okay. Who found out the divorce rate? How much is what's the divorce rate
It's about 43% for
from?
first time marriages that are being dissolved. And then second and third marriages actually fail at a higher rate, closer to 60 and 73%.
Wow.
So a little bit less than half.
Moving forward? Okay, that's I mean 43%. I thought it was higher than that, but that seems like it seems like border.
It's close. It's like in the middle of the road, right?
Yeah, it's at the middle of the
Yo.
road. Moving forward as a society, look like monogamous. A lot of monogamous relationships, be it girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife. One of the biggest factors of the divorce or breakup is infidelity. So, what is the cure? Is polyamory relationships the cure for this
communication,
breakdown? Would it be?
Does
clear
it have
communication.
numbers like that on what the actual numbers are for infidelity for those particular marriages? Because I know with mine it wasn't
Well,
infidelity,
it's kind of hard to
but
probably look
I know
that up because
everybody's
a lot of
different.
divorces is based on no fault.
You know,
With
how
no
many of them
fault.
are violence versus? Because a lot of them are violence, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's what mine was more mental violence because he couldn't get to physical violence. But yeah, it was definitely something outside of infidelity because we both agreed if we could, I could have women and he could have women, so had nothing to do with infidelity. But so I'm just
60% of
wondering,
divorced couples cited infidelity as a reason for their divorce.
wow, so
60%.
that's the number you were looking for, Autumn. That's the number
Domestic
you were looking for.
Huh?
domestic abuse prompts 24% of cases.
Oh, that's less than I thought. Okay.
See, so
It's the
there is
damage
a
is
big problem. There's a problem.
it
What
is
is the what is the solution?
communication. So
It's not always
we don't communicate enough about what
we do.
exactly we want.
We probably
No,
ain't listening
no, lots of
to
people.
Think
I
don't
don't think
think
we do.
I don't think there's one solution to this problem because people are
I think every
so
relationship
varied.
will be different.
It
all too
really depends
multifaceted.
on the person
Yeah,
and that relationship. There's not a one size
yeah,
fits all because the way
Mm,
that you communicate might not be the way somebody else communicates. Or some people, they can communicate to the blue in their face, but they're not able to communicate with themselves. They're not being honest with themselves. So how could they possibly
exactly.
really be honest with you? And they don't
Yeah,
even
mhm.
realize it. So I don't think
Yep,
there's a one
yep,
size fits all.
yep.
Communication helps a lot, but you also really have to know who you yourself,
Deal with
like
it.
who
Yeah.
you are, and you also have to really have a good real understanding of who this person that you're dealing with is. Is this person even being real with them? Because how could they be real with you if they're not even being real with themselves? They're going to tell
Uh-huh.
you what you want to hear, not realizing that they're being manipulative, not realizing such as.
definitely.
So I don't think there's one
Girl.
size that fits all.
Agreed.
Autumn made a good point earlier about how people change over time. So whereas when she was younger, she might not have been as open to alternate relationships. Over time, she's changed, and now she knows she's okay with polyandry. When she was younger, she might have never known that, you
That's
know.
true.
So I'm just
It's
All right.
true.
small points out.
It's true.
So
I think just the way you experience them help you with the evolution.
yeah, and so in the comments below, tell us, would you go for polyandry or polyamory, or ethical non-monogamy, or none of the above. You're like me, and you would definitely go for the monogamous relationship. And if you've had
I'm locked
any
down too. I'm locked
experiences,
down.
Looking for my
I'm
kings.
also like
Two
Jessica.
kings.
and
Two
if you've
kings.
had any experiences, put it in the comments below and let us know about your experiences. Thank you for joining us again on Different Walk Serious Talk, and see you next time.